Cybersecurity is becoming more and more important. The more we are digitalizing our life, so the more email we send, the more love we find on the internet, the more data we are putting. And all these data are vulnerable to cyber attacks. The EU can and should lead on cybersecurity, but there is two things we should avoid. The first thing is not to cooperate enough. The EU needs to act as a single body, and we need to protect our European sovereignty. We should not let the member states protect their own sovereignty, because at the end of the day, it will harm the European Union as a whole. Second thing that we need to do is not to act alone. If the European Union acts alone, without the international cooperation, it will not work. It will put our companies in economic disadvantage.
So trust is really it's a bottom-up thing. It comes from people knowing each other, talking to each other, practicing together, doing exercises together. And I think the very simple answer is it just needs to be more of that. It does take an effort, it takes time, it takes people, and it can distract you from doing things at home. So at the end of the day, you need more resourcing. You actually need to have enough people to deal with your neighbors, with other European countries, to build these relations together. I think the other thing you can do to build trust is to have a center, so an agency, European Commission, that also engender trust. Now, it's not enough just to say Europe needs to do more. You also need to have a European Commission and agencies like ENISA and EU-LISA that get taken seriously, that are well-resourced, that have appropriate mandates, and a Commission that also, on the one hand, pushes for more, but has some empathy toward member states and works sort of on a very practical, dynamic level to get things right with them.
Digitalization is a day-to-day story for us, and cybersecurity is nothing without a strong legislation and background. We know that the elections are a very hotspot for the time. Everybody is speaking about the election of next year already. What we think is, compared to the national election, there is no big difference in terms of risk, except that the exposure is much larger, because of course 27 countries will do the election over 3 or 4 days even. So it's definitely a change, I think, compared to the national elections.
We have to stop seeing cybersecurity as a sector, but to see cybersecurity as an horizontal activity affecting absolutely all sectors. As we have seen in the past years, the cybersecurity has moved quickly from an IT, technical activity to an entire ecosystem, because it can affect everyone, from an individual user to a company to an organization to vital sectors for the economy and society like transport, energy, healthcare, banking, to even countries and economies.
Cybersecurity, it's too easy for policymakers to think of this as a kind of difficult technical issue for the geeks to take care of somewhere. And that's precisely why we haven't gone as far as we could, because there hasn't been the political pressure to deliver. So I think it's really important for the politicians to articulate goals and to get their services and their agencies to deliver. And part of why the politicians have to get involved is because the people in government that have to be doing stuff are in their own different silos. It's the people in CERTs, it's the law enforcement people, it's also foreign ministries. You know, it's sometimes it's not about a technical response. It's about attributing a cyber attack and saying, yes, it was Russia that attacked us, or it was North Korea that attacked us, as opposed to just, oh, we had an attack and it was bad. So it's about political courage as much as it's about practical nitty-gritty activity. So in this sense, I think it's really important that the politicians take this as seriously as the experts dealing with the topic.